Imagine this. You are sailing through the cold, restless waters of the Atlantic. In the distance, you see a tall lighthouse standing on a lonely island, a beacon of safety for every passing ship. But one night, that light goes dark. And when rescuers arrive days later, the three men who guarded it have completely vanished. No struggle, no blood, no bodies, just silence, and questions that remain unanswered to this day. This is the chilling story of the Flannan Isles Lighthouse mystery of 1900. The Flannan Isles lie off the rugged coast of Scotland, remote, storm-beaten, and hauntingly beautiful. The lighthouse on Eilean Mòr had only been in operation for 1 year when disaster struck. 3 men were stationed there: James Ducat, the head keeper, Thomas Marshall, his assistant, and Donald McArthur, an occasional keeper filling in for the shift. A 4th man, Joseph Moore, was ashore on leave. On the 15th of December 1900, a passing ship, the Tor, noticed something strange. The lighthouse lamp was not shining. For sailors, that light was life itself, and its absence was alarming. But storms in the area delayed the relief ship, Hesperus, for 11 long days. Finally, on 26th of December, Hesperus reached the island. The captain blew the horn. No reply. They fired a flare. No movement. The relief keeper, Joseph Moore, was sent ashore. What he found has baffled the world for over a century. Inside the lighthouse, clocks had stopped. Beds were unmade. Half-eaten meals lay on the table. Oilskins, the waterproof coats, were missing, but only 2 of them. One man had clearly left without his protection. Outside, the west landing told a darker story: smashed railings, twisted ropes, and heavy damage from waves that must have risen violently against the cliffside. But there was no sign of the 3 men. When the case was investigated by Robert Muirhead, superintendent of the Northern Lighthouse Board, his report pointed to one grim explanation: that the keepers had been swept away while trying to secure equipment in a terrible storm. Yet no bodies were ever recovered. Theories spread like wildfire. Some said a rogue wave, one of the freak giants of the sea, had struck the island and pulled all 3 men into the ocean. Others whispered of a fight between the keepers, fueled by isolation and tempers, that ended in violence. In local folklore, wilder tales emerged: sea monsters, ghostly ships, even abduction by supernatural forces. But perhaps the most haunting detail lies in the missing oilskins. Why would one man step outside into a violent storm without his coat? Was it an emergency so urgent he didn't have time to prepare? Or was he lured into something more sinister? The official verdict closed the case with a practical explanation: rough seas and deadly weather. But among locals and later writers and poets, the mystery only deepened. The courts had no further say, but public imagination declared the men as lost to something far stranger than mere waves. Over a century later, the Flannan Isles Lighthouse still stands, automated now, without human keepers. And every time its light cuts through the dark Atlantic night, it carries with it the memory of 3 men who disappeared without a trace, leaving behind one of the most enduring maritime mysteries in history. So what do you think? Was it just the fury of the sea, or something far more mysterious?